Viewers and subscribers, welcome back to Beating the Press podcast. I am your host, Rafa. Now, coming up today, we're going to be previewing the big one, Inter Milan versus Man City, the Champions League final. It's turning out to be a sumptuous affair. City enter this one as favorites, it would appear, while Inter Milan is considered the big underdog. This one taking place over there in Istanbul. And of course, Liverpool have some famous memories of Champions League victory over another Italian giant over there in Istanbul in the form of AC Milan some years ago. That memorable come from behind after being 3-0 down and coming from behind to take that one in extra time and then on penalties. But this one is Man City versus Inter Milan. We see Inzaghi taking on Pep. And of course, we know that the Champions League have been eluding Pep since he joined Manchester City. So this one should have an extra special meaning. Of course, beating finalists a couple years ago by Chelsea. That was a shock as well. I witnessed that one live on the big screen, and all expectations was that City would take that win, but surprisingly, it was Chelsea who came out the victors. And can we see another upset going forward? I am not so sure. City is playing with such confidence, and it would take a really, ambitious man to really bet against City in this form. But looking at this one from a tactical point of view, what is it we can expect from both teams? Of course, Man City should be coming into this one looking to replicate their form. I suspect Pep may very well go with a similar lineup as to the one he put forward in that FA Cup victory against Manchester United. So we should see again Haaland leading the line, Kevin De Bruyne, Gundogan, Grealish, Walker should be in the mix as well. Stones playing that role, from defense and then tucking in into the midfield alongside Rodri. And of course, Ederson, the goalkeeper, should be back in goal for City. He was rested in the FA Cup final, but definitely I am sure Pep will want his best team out there. And Ederson should be back in goal. And of course, on the Italian side, we are not very familiar with Italian league. However, upon doing some research, we see a few key names and a few household names, of course. Dzeko, the former Man City striker, he is there representing Inter Milan and should possibly start alongside Lautaro Martinez, the Argentine international. He has been one of the top strikers in the Serie A this season. I believe he has 28 goals in all competitions. And of course, the Italians are known for their stalwart defense. And of course, Bastoni should be anchoring that back three for Inter Milan, along with, the attacking wingbacks in the form of Dumfries, that Netherlands internationals always up and down that left-hand side for Inter Milan. In the midfield, I'm expecting to see Barella, that international from Italy as well. He won the Euros under Mancini, beating England in that Euro final there at Wembley in front of the English crowd. Oftentimes it said it's coming home, but again, England failing to win a trophy, a major trophy since, a very long time. And Barella played a very key role in that Italian success, and he will be hoping to do the same in this Inter Milan team. So those are a few of the names that I'm looking to see on the score sheet for the Italian Giants, and they will be looking to cause the upset. Interestingly enough, however, the team that has done the double over Man City this season, Brentford, they play a similar formation as the Italians. They got 2 victories over Man City during the course of the EPL season, and the formation that Inter Milan use is a back three, and that is what brought Brentford success. So could Inter Milan look to replicate the blueprint which Brentford has set. We have to wait and see. We have to watch this one. This one coming up on Saturday afternoon for those on the Eastern time zone, around 3 o'clock, I believe, or two in some locations. I hear it is taking place around 10 p.m. Turkish time in order to facilitate those on the Western world. So it's gonna be a late game in Turkey, 10 p.m. This one should finish around midnight. And come midnight, it's your guess as well as my guess as to who will be the victors in this one. But it's definitely shaping up to be a very interesting affair. It should be a very tight game as per the expectations when it comes to finals. My money, however, from the jump has always been on Man City for them to complete the task of winning the treble. But definitely, this is going to be a very tough fixture. It's not going to be an easy fixture. The Italians have one of the best defensive records in the Champions League this season. I believe they have amassed the most clean sheet throughout the competition, racking up 8 clean sheets. On the other hand, it is Man City we're talking about. And interestingly, Man City has scored the most goals in this season's Champions League, 31 goals in all competition thus far. So it is almost as if it's defense versus offense. Man City have all the offensive weapons. Haaland has been off form of late. He hasn't scored in the last 4 games. And of course, the Italians, led by Bastoni, will be looking to continue that trend of keeping him quiet and, causing another blank for him in this one. He is the key man there in the Man City attack. And once you can keep Haaland quiet, then you give yourself a good chance of getting something from the game, as Manchester United did. They came out the losers in that one, but they were in the game. They went into halftime 1-1, and in the second half, Man City got a early goal, but Man United was in the game, and that's what the Italians have to do in this one. They have to stay in the game, even if they go behind. Stay in the game. Don't let it become, a walkover, so to speak. The bookies have Man City as clear favorites, so they will be looking to cash in there. But the Italians have been preparing well, and as much as we're taking them as an underdog, you can never tell when it comes to a final, especially one of this sort of magnitude in the Champions League final. The last time Inter Milan won the Champions League was under Jose Mourinho. So they have a rich European history. They have returned to European competition, and they have a rich pedigree when it comes on to the Champions League. Man City looking to win the Champions League this year. This is one of the key reasons they brought in the likes of Haaland. This is the objective that Pep has been failing to accomplish since he came to England. And this is a prime opportunity for him not only to capture the Champions League, but in the process, creating history and ranking with the likes of that Manchester United team and winning the treble, the English Premier League, the FA Cup, and the Champions League. So in terms of prediction, how am I looking at this one? As mentioned before, I'm definitely looking at Man City to come out victorious. However, it's going to be a tight game, so I'm expecting Man City to dominate possession, Inter Milan to be steadfast, try to take advantage of counter-attacks in the form of Lautaro Martinez, Dzeko, Dumfries, and Barella, making those runs from midfield. Try to take advantage of set plays. They also have Lukaku on the bench, so he could come in late and make a significant difference in their attacking prowess. So he is definitely one to keep an eye on, even though he hasn't really been starting of late. he has definitely the ability to make an impact coming off the bench. And of course, if this one is tight, the impact of subs may very well play a critical role. But for me, I am thinking Man City will take this one 2-1. So I do expect the Italians with their firepower to breach the Man City rear guard. However, I just think Man City will have too much. The motivation is high, the quality in the team is good, and they have a tactical genius there in the form of Pep. The only concern for me is that we've seen over the years where Pep have somewhat tinkered with his teams when it comes to finals. And to me, that has caused somewhat of a failure in recent, big finals for Pep. So I am hoping he trusts his team to go into this one, uh, tried, tested and proven, continued the great football they have been playing all season. Similar tactics with a few tweaks here or there, but nothing wholesale, nothing that will really disrupt the equilibrium that the team have managed to achieve in recent games, especially towards the latter part of the season. Man City is on a 26 game unbeaten run, and they are hoping to continue that form going into Saturday. So I'm just hoping that Pep doesn't sabotage himself, so to speak, and just allow the team to play the sumptuous football they have been playing all season. Inter, on the other hand, will be looking to cause the upset. Of course, the Italian giants will be looking to be defensively solid. Oftentimes they may drop into a back five, a midfield three, and oftentimes they play with two up front. But on the defensive side, Lautaro may drop back and create somewhat of a four in the midfield area there, possibly disrupting the ball playing tactics or the ball playing skills of Rodri, that defense or that deep line playmaker that Man City oftentimes utilize in their attacks, and leave one up front with Dzeko or Lukaku, depending on who starts in this one. I do expect Dzeko to start, and then Lukaku may get a substitute appearance, but it's going to be all hands on deck for Inter Milan if they are to get something out of this game. Their preparation, I have been reading, has been going well. It appears they are not scared of the occasion. They obviously have respect for Man City, but they are not frightened by the occasion. And their defensive right there in the form of Bastoni has been talking tough this week, so he'll be looking to put Haaland in his pocket. Of course, in goal, you have Onana. He should definitely be up for this one, and his services may very well be called into play throughout the course of this game. So definitely he may very well play a critical role, especially if this one goes down into penalties per se. We can never tell. Extra time is definitely a possibility, and I'm sure the Italians as well as Man City will be looking to cover all the bases. So you can never tell, it may be tight, it may be a 1-1, it may go down to penalties, and it may take the heroics of the goalkeepers to take this one home for whichever team. So that is something that you need to keep an eye on as well, the possibility of penalties and the two goalkeepers, calling their skills into question. But for sure, the Italians are not just going to roll over. They are going to come strong. I believe they will definitely put up a fight. They will make a spectacle of this game, and Man City is definitely going to have to be at their best in order to take the Italians down. Football, as I said, oftentimes is played on the field and not on paper. So while Man City on paper, based on history, based on form, based on their achievement throughout the season, looks to be in the driver's seat in terms of the favorites, they still have to go out there and perform the task. And I am sure the Italians are preparing tactically under the guidance of Inzaghi, will be looking to counter whatever Man City has to offer. And as I've said earlier, Brentford have shown the Italians the blueprint. Brentford is the team which has done the double over Man City this season. And the Brentford team, they played with a back three or a back five, utilizing wing backs. And Inter has the wing backs toward Man City. Dumfries on the left will play a critical role. And of course, on the right side, you have DiMarco. So these are two quality wing backs. Many of us would have witnessed the heroics of Dumfries during the World Cup, playing for that Netherlands teams. He is really an attacking threat down the left-hand flank. And Man City will have to put something in place in order to prevent him from hurting them to any large degrees. So it's going to be a tight game. It's going to be a tough game. Pep will definitely has his work cut out for him. But for me, I am still looking for Man City to come away from this one victorious. This one kicking off on Saturday, I will definitely be tuning in. And I encourage you, viewers and subscribers, also to tune in to this one. But I encourage you to continue to share the podcast, continue to like, comment. Let me know what you think the score may be. And, we'll see at the end of the day if you got your predictions right. But thanks again for tuning in. And of course, this is Rafa signing off.